Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome back to the ProfitDuel NFL Week 3 show. I am your host, Casey Halpern, and I have just returned from a short trip to Italy. I'm a bit jet lagged, I'm a lot poorer, and I'm fatter than ever. And I'm thrilled to be joined by my friend, my former colleague, the co-founder of America's #1 prediction market, ProphetX, Jake Benzaquen. Jake, it's great to see you out of the office. How are we?
Casey, great to be here. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you. We're super excited, and we're going to figure out how to work off these carbs. It's been tough sledding for me the first 2 NFL weeks. Admittedly, I have been very out of the picture. I've been traveling for a wedding in Italy, so I've only basically watched one football game. It was Steelers at Jets, week 1. I was in the building. And then I immediately left for Europe. So I haven't been able to watch much ball, but I'm ready for week 3. I've lost in some pretty unbelievable fashion in weeks 1 and 2. So we're going to try and right the ship. But before we could get into how we can make the viewers at home some dough and dive into some of our favorite bets, I want to talk a little ProfitX. And for those who are watching who do not know, Jake, what exactly is ProfitX?
Yeah, perfect. I think before we dive into ProfitX, I just want to say, you're back, you're settled. You got the process back in place to be able to, not only watch the games, look at the board, understand movement. So it's tough to manage things and, really put in some good picks and plays when you're on the road. So I wouldn't fret too much over the tough start. I'm sure the process will be improved this week.
That's what we're hoping for. It's always tough waking up at, 7 o'clock Italy time to find out that the Texans foolishly ran in to the end zone with basically 2 minutes left to screw up your -1.5. So that's fun, but we're moving on.
Yeah, no, I was on Texans money line that game as well. I mean, we've seen this before, right? You got to slide. I don't think the game would have ended specifically right there on the slide, but it all but pretty much would have ended. So yeah, that was tough. So was Jets Steelers week 1. I'm sorry you were in the building for that. Good game though.
Great game. And by the way, we've got some breaking news into the channel actually. GRP has added another Coach of the Year bet, so he's really cornering that market. He's retired from sides. I just wanted to call that out.
What was the play?
I don't know. I just received the text that GRP added another Coach of the Year bet.
The markets are moving as we speak.
That is it.
To go back to your original question on ProfitX, ProfitX is a peer-to-peer sports prediction market. So you're playing against other people and others there's counterparties on the other side of every single play that you're making. And those counterparties are not us. We're in a traditional sports book. The counterparty you're playing against is the sports book itself. So when you play at DraftKings and FanDuel and you place your straights and your parlays, DraftKings and FanDuel are taking the other side of those plays. On a peer-to-peer platform or on a prediction market, it will be basically anyone but the platform itself. So we've got, institutions, we've got entities that are providing liquidity to the platform. We've got many individuals that provide liquidity to the platform, and you're playing against them, not against ProfitX.
Interesting. So you're basically just playing against other users all across the United States, correct?
That is correct.
Awesome. I love to see it. It's great to see innovation within the space. And tell us a bit about the pivot. Obviously, ProfitX started out as a New Jersey exchange and pivoted to a nationwide prediction market. Walk us through that journey, kind of what drove that decision and how difficult was that decision to make?
Yeah, so I think the regulatory environment is ultimately what drove that decision. Us, along with Sporttrade, were kind of the first 2 platforms to enter the U.S. as an exchange. We worked with New Jersey regulators and the DGE over there to form specific reporting, product, financial test cases that made sense for a peer-to-peer platform rather than a sports book, and ultimately launched that product in New Jersey, and we were live there for about 2 years. While we were in New Jersey, we were waiting for other states and working with other states to open up for exchange wagering under a traditional, online sports betting OSB license. No other states really came to the table. Colorado eventually did. And I believe West Virginia maybe has it now. But either way, there's still not, more than a handful of states that are actually allowing for and regulating exchange wagering across the U.S. And that's ultimately what made us decide to pivot. We couldn't scale, we couldn't grow, we couldn't really do anything in the traditional OSB regulatory state by state model. And as a result, we decided to move to the sweepstakes vertical. The sweepstakes vertical allows you to operate a dual currency platform, one that's free to play and one that you can win real money on. And that allows you access to, we're in about 40 states right now nationwide. So we have been able to, kind of see the product market fit in real hand and achieve the scale that we had always wanted. And that was really the driving factor. We just wanted to see, we knew the product would work, and we wanted to see it at scale.
Makes sense. And it's really a shame that there are so many regulatory forces kind of at hand when it comes to this stuff, especially how many barriers to entry there are. It's kind of impossible for a bootstrap startup to survive if you're going that route. But look, I think these prediction markets are here to stay. They're better for the industry, and I think they're ultimately just way better for the consumer. And that brings me to my next question is, for someone who's never used a prediction market, right? Obviously, you walked us through that a prediction market is more peer-to-peer. You're playing against someone else rather than the house. How else is ProfitX different from, let's say, the DraftKings or FanDuels of the world?
Yeah, I think the simple way to put it is flexibility and freedom. You're able to go into a market. You're actually able to request your own odds. So instead of being given, the price or being given a menu of options that you can choose from, you can create your own. So for tonight's game, I guess tonight's game is a horrible example because it's a very lopsided game here, but let's say the Bills are minus 750 on a sports book and the Fins are 5-1. That's a huge spread, right? There's a huge difference there in terms of the vig that the sports book is holding. And the way the ProfitX works and any prediction market works is we might have that similar minus 750 plus 500 up when we put the market up for who's going to win tonight. But we've got many users that come in and say, I don't want minus 700, I want minus 600. The next thing you see 6-1 appear, because if I'm requesting minus 600 on the Bills, someone else needs to take 6-1 on the Fins. So you see that, and that behavior compounded over thousands and tens of thousands of users creates extremely tight and extremely liquid markets. And that goes back to the freedom and flexibility that I was talking about. So you can go in, you can really, be the sports book yourself, whether you want to create a one-sided market or play on both sides. And then additionally, because we are not the house and we are not the one that's taking the risk and, the counterparty on your trades, you are then, able to play freely as you want. We don't limit you. We won't kick you out. These sports books, when you win, they kick you out. I'm sure, if you're using, platforms like ProfitDuel, you're aware of the greater sportsbook ecosystem and how some sportsbooks profile and limit people that are winning or, because again, they're the counterparty. So those are the two main reasons. There's lots of other, I would say, niche benefits of prediction markets, but to the end consumer and differentiating against a sportsbook, that's definitely where where we would hang our hat.
Fairness, flexibility. I would also add transparency. Right? Like you know exactly what you can get down at any moment in time. You know basically who's on the other side of the trades each time, and not obviously personally, but it's just not the house pretty much. We actually have a question from one of our viewers. What's been the most unexpected upside of pivoting?
That's a good question. I would say honestly, how easy it has been to be able to achieve the scale that we've always wanted to see. And that might sound like a stupid answer, but when we originally pivoted to sweepstakes, we had no idea if it was going to work, right? We knew that it was this new regulatory vertical, or I shouldn't say new, but relatively new to the sports space. We had no idea what was going to come from the backlash of that. I mean, we gave up an OSB license, right? Like pretty unprecedented at the time to give up one of those highly coveted licenses held by operators and actually give that up. We paid a termination fee, so we actually paid to give that up, and then eventually launched in a completely new vertical that, had a bunch of unknowns in terms of what states were going to do, in terms of how payment processors were going to support the ecosystem, how other third parties were going to, and everyone, was really embraced by all of our partners, all of our prior customers, and the greater industry as a whole. So innovation will always find ways to, kind of reach the forefront and reach the end consumer. And it really went off without a hitch. I think obviously recently there's been some negative sweepstakes backlash in some states, and there's been a lot of legislation against that. But that's the first real pushback that we have seen in almost a year or a year plus at this point since the pivot.
Great answer and great question. So thank you, Wild Panda 82. Great name, by the way. Why should bettors consider using prediction markets instead of a traditional sports book?
Yeah, it should be something that is in your rotation, right? It's not we or any prediction market's never going to fully replace a sports book. A sports book absolutely has its own places in the ecosystem. And the greater conversation of, I've been lucky enough to be in prediction market Twitter now, thanks to my algorithm change over the last few weeks. And if you thought sports betting Twitter was bad, prediction market Twitter might be worse. And there's a lot of, I don't want to say hoopla, but a lot of momentum behind the fact that prediction markets are going to fully replace sports books. People are acting like sports betting was just invented for the first time on prediction market Twitter. Sports books will always have their place. There are benefits to having, kind of a centralized counterparty, like the DraftKings and the FanDuels of the world. You can get in your huge long shot parlays, the menu. I mean, the sheer amount of props that is up on the DraftKings and the FanDuels of the world will never be replicated by prediction markets. It's just too hard to put the liquidity and the focus and efforts behind it. We're certainly trying to compete as much as we can. But it should always just be something that's within your offering, within your product suite. You get better odds, you can request your own prices. If you're in the match betting community like the ProfitDuel customers are, you're obviously getting the best prices to be able to guarantee a profit on trades. And low margin platforms are 100% the way to do so. And you can earn more and risk less with really every single play you make.
Yeah. I think they all belong kind of in the industry. I view it as sort of a complementary product. It's something that I use very frequently, but I also use pretty much FanDuel and DraftKings every day. I would say I use ProfitX just as much as both of them for very different reasons, though. But they all serve its purpose. And I think a big part of this boils down to kind of the education factor. And this is a perfect segue because I've always wondered, obviously, since you guys have pivoted, what's kind of been the biggest hurdle in educating the market and getting users to kind of understand what ProfitX is and kind of how prediction markets work?
Yeah, I think there's a dual educational curve that we're fighting right now. The first is sweepstakes, right? What's this dual currency system? I think that's gotten a lot more. The knowledge of sweepstakes has gotten a lot more commoditized over the past year with all these random books and casinos popping up to, take advantage of the sweepstakes vertical, just like we have. But getting people to understand points versus cash versus coins on different platforms is definitely a huge educational barrier. And then also, the peer-to-peer, what is liquidity? What is, this financial marketplace looking platform that also has sports? Those are the questions that people are kind of asking. And we're doing obviously the best that we can to convert everyone and to educate everyone on the product itself and the benefits of it. But in all honesty, the Kalshis and the Poly markets of the world are educating customers much faster about these types of products than we ever could due to resourcing and capital allocation that they've had. I mean, they've raised billions of dollars each between the last two of them in the last few months. So we view that as a rising tide lifts all boats, and the prediction market space is continuously on the up and up, and that means that the educational curve that we're going to have to deal with our customers should hopefully go down. We'll see if that thesis is correct over time. But between the prediction market and kind of the peer-to-peer liquidity challenge, along with the sweepstakes dual currency challenge, both are tough. Both are extremely different, and you really just have to know what your consumer's looking for, what they want, and how to talk to them.
Makes sense. And I'd have to imagine, though, that there is a very strong retention rate on ProfitX, because it's kind of like, once you understand the product, very similar to like ProfitDuel. Once you understand how to do match betting, you're kind of like hooked, right? Like, you're not really going to leave the platform, right? You're basically learning how to fish for life, right? And I have to imagine that the same thing goes for ProfitX. Like, once you learn about obviously the key USPs and the benefits and values, like there's no turning back. Like, you're going to be using the platform complementary to the FanDuels, the DraftKings of the world.
Absolutely. We look at a number of, kind of key metrics. Obviously, retention is one. That second purchase is another one that we look at. Once you make that second purchase, it means you're kind of hanging around for life. Obviously not for life out here, but it means you've obviously grasped the benefit and the differentiated, platform and how it can benefit you as a consumer, no matter what you're doing. If you're match betting, if you're top-down betting, if you're originating and posting prices. So there's many different use cases, but yeah, once you get it, you kind of stick around, which makes our lives a lot easier.
It's kind of just like the light bulb goes off in your head. But now I want to just pivot. This is awesome. I'm very happy to hear that ProfitX is getting more and more notoriety across the United States. Also, Wild Panda said, respect for leaning into it. Thank you for an honest answer. Thanks for a great question, Wild Panda. But let's kind of segue a bit into kind of actually how you could use ProfitDuel and ProfitX to just make guaranteed cash. And I actually just checked my DraftKings and FanDuel accounts right before the show, and there's a 50% boost on each for tonight's Thursday night football game between the Dolphins and the Bills. And if you are into the sort of thing where you can make money no matter what, who wins the game or whatever, I highly encourage you to use both of these boosts on ProfitDuel and ProfitX. I've already pulled it up for us right now. I have $100 max on DraftKings. I know this varies for every user, but right now, if you just head on over to the ProfitDuel Boost Matcher, you can use our tools to show you how to make a guaranteed $30 before the game even kicks off by placing your boost on DraftKings over on the Dolphins and then taking the other side on ProfitX over on the Bills, and you're walking away with at least $30.88. So you can do this on both basically FanDuel and DraftKings right now, and you could probably walk away with an easy $60, and you don't even care who wins. It's that simple. So shameless plug on how to use both ProfitDuel and ProfitX to your advantage.
Totally. I mean, if anyone out there really wants to ride Fins at plus 510, best of luck to you tonight. But I would definitely go ahead and lock in that risk-free profit over there, knowing what you're going up against on the boost side.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so simple. You could sit back, relax, and just watch the game, and probably it'll be over very soon. But you could easily just make an easy, guaranteed $58 if I combine both of these boosts, assuming you have $100 max. I mean, it's pretty simple. But if taking the fin straight up, again, is your forte, and head on over to ProfitX for the best price in all of the land.
Choice.
But moving on, we're going to try and get off the schneid here myself. I'm glad you're here with us because I do value your sharpness. You are a wise bettor. You're a value bettor. I want to kind of dive into a few of our favorite matchups for week 3. So go on and give me your favorite this upcoming week.
My favorite. So who's going to win first? I was ready for the underdog segment, but we can do the favorite first. I think I like the Bucks this week. I think they've moved off that 7. I know I didn't want to come in here and talk about the Jets. I think, is it Tyrod or Fields this week? I don't even know.
It's Tyrod.
It's Tyrod. I mean, I don't think it's made that much of a difference to the spread, as it probably shouldn't. I liked what Fields looked like week 1. I think it screamed like a offense that gets much worse over the course of the year because people start understanding how to defend against it more. And I think you started seeing that in week 2, albeit the Bills defense is definitely a different animal than the Steelers defense, even though obviously the run chart of where they were running versus TJ Watt on the field was one of the most insightful things I saw after week 1. I'm not sure if you saw that, but it was TJ over here, run the ball over here is pretty much all you needed to know. But yeah, I think after watching last week, I think having to go down to Tampa, Baker looked fantastic this past week. I think Ibuka's coming into his own over there. I mean, he's got 3 touchdowns through 2 weeks.
He didn't practice, by the way, today.
He didn't. Okay. That's good. Maybe that's why we're moving off of the 7 over here. But yeah, I think anything under 7, I do like. Seen Tyrod play plenty. I think Tyrod is good for 2 to 3 drives a game. Maybe they'll put up 14. Maybe they'll put up 17. But I like the Bucs to be able to go back home and cover this week.
Okay. Well, so we'll discuss that shortly.
Okay. Is the dog of the week the Jets?
TBD.
TBD.
Keep it as a surprise for the viewers at home. I could understand that line of thinking, though. I do not hate it. The Bucs are also wearing their sweet jerseys from, I believe, 1976. If you haven't seen them, go check them out. Highly recommend. They are
it's
also
not the creams.
No, it's not. You know what? Let me actually just bring it up quickly. I believe it's just like the white version of the creamsicles.
I love an all white jersey and helmet combination at home.
It's
simple pleasures.
They're really sexy. I got to be honest. It's. Give me 1 second. This is bad. We're call it podcasting, I guess, but
you're good.
They are very worthwhile seeing.
It's really a shame that my favorite of the week is going to clash with your underdog of the week. Hopefully,
we don't know that yet.
Okay, yeah, that's true. It's still
we might have an issue there. Where the hell are these jerseys?
If you want some more analysis from yours truly on the games this weekend, the Sunday Night Football game is absolutely disgusting as a Giants fan.
Well, wait. Hold on.
Okay.
I got the jerseys up. Give me 1 second, and then we'll go into that game, actually. See, these jerseys are sexy, and it might mean the Bucs are going to win.
Oh, nice.
28.
They've got the cream accent on it.
Yes.
Those are great.
They are nice.
Bad sign for any Jets supporters out there.
Not great. Look good, feel good, play good, as Deion Sanders once said. But going back to Sunday Night Football, my actual favorite chalk play of the week is the Chiefs minus 6.5. I think it's a get-right spot for Kansas City. I kind of would be absolutely shocked if the Giants offense repeated last week's performance against a much better defense and a defensive coordinator. We all know Spags, and he loves to blitz, and Kansas City has the highest blitz rate in the NFL through 2 weeks. And I think that could be a bit of trouble for an aging and maybe a bit immobile Russell Wilson. They haven't generated much of a pressure rate recently, but they've also gone against both the Chargers and Eagles O-lines, who are, I would say, top 5, top 7 in the NFL, and the Giants don't have a great offensive line. So I think it's going to be a much easier task for Kansas City to kind of feast and take control of the game. I don't think it's going to be in part because of the offense. I think it's just going to be because of Spags in that defense, though.
Yeah, as a Giants fan, I was pretty shocked with what I saw last week across the board. Probably one of the greatest. I mean, statistically, I think it was the best Russell Wilson performance of his career.
It was.
I mean, some of those deep balls, the one to Neighbors, the one to Wandale, impeccable, right? Old moon ball, Russell Wilson getting the ball down the field extremely accurately. He did arm punt it in OT. With an awful interception. I think there was some miscommunication between Neighbors and Russ on that play, but kind of seemed like a force. Anyway, I mean, they put up, 37 points. So the fact that you're able to go down to your third string left tackle after your second string left tackle can't even play a snap correctly without committing a penalty. And then put up 37 points, albeit on an injured Dallas Cowboys secondary and a front that just lost their best pass rusher. I think those are positive signs. I think you have to see some regression this week. It's just simply not sustainable across the board. And I think the game plan the Giants had on offense was great. On the flip side of the ball was where I actually had a lot more concern. I mean, you're up 3 with 14 seconds left, and you know that Aubrey's good from 70. And you're basically dropping it to prevent D, and you allow for 20-yard catch right off the bat, and boom, they're in field goal range. He obviously nails it. Just I really think organizations should be evaluated on how they handle critical situations and key decisions in, kind of those last 2 minutes, even of each half, not even the end of the game here. And the Giants have year over year failed to do that. And that's just not a team that I can trust. I do think this is a back against the wall, kind of the hungry dog runs faster narrative for both teams. I think it'll be interesting to see. I mean, Dable's got to be concerned about a midseason firing if they start 0-3. And I don't know if they're going to even have Andrew Thomas back. But Abdul Carter's been missing through 2 weeks, 2 games into the NFL career of him. But yeah, it's weird because I feel positive, but we're 0-2 and have the Chiefs at home next week. So it's just a weird spot to be in.
I hear you. I don't know. I don't love it for the Giants just because it basically is a must-win for Kansas City. I also don't love the fact that the Giants defense, even though they absolutely sucked, they were also on the field for a long, long time on Sunday against the Cowboys. Side note, I watched the second half of that game in a bar in Rome. So that was something, experiencing that.
Crazy fourth quarter.
Yeah, crazy fourth quarter. Crazy is just second half in general, but the fourth quarter was absolutely bananas. And watching like Italians watch football was also fascinating on top of that. Left right after overtime to go to bed. But let's talk some underdogs. Who's your barking dog of the week? They don't have to pull the upset. Just who do you like to cover?
I like Carolina. I think it's a really disgusting spot for them, especially on a Falcons team that I think surprised some people with the upset on Monday night. They've got a short week. I think Carolina actually started to build some momentum as someone that was on the Cardinals in Survivor and the Vikings in Survivor last week. I got way too cute, but I was watching both games pretty closely. I think Carolina started to find something in their offense kind of in the second half there. They did put 2 of their linemen on IR today, but actually last year they performed a little bit better with those guys, or at least with the center out, I think. So I'm not putting too much weight into that. I think the Falcons overperformed on a short week, or they overperformed and have a short week coming up. Road divisional game. I think it's a 3 to 4 point game. I think 5.5 is too high.
I liked it. I like it. I was actually thinking about playing Atlanta in Survivor, and I actually decided to not because I kind of aligned with a lot of your thought process there, and I just I don't know if I could also just trust the Falcons in general ever. But I kind of like Carolina as well.
Road divisional games are tough. I mean, the Panthers will lose by 21, knowing that I came out and gave this analysis here. But
yeah, I was looking at a chart actually, and Bryce Young has the 3rd worst EPA from a clean pocket in the NFL, and that's just frightening. The fact that he's in his 3rd year and he's basically just seemingly not improving, despite some of the strides he made towards the end of the season last year.
He looked good last year. I hold the Bryce Young MVP ticket, 125 to 1.
That's got some help. That's got some hope. He did stat pad a bit in the second half last week, so the numbers.
That's already written off. But yeah, I don't know. It's a spot that I like. We'll see. It might look disgusting in hindsight. Who's your dog?
Well,
Jets.
For my dog of the week, it is in fact the New York Football Jets +7 for the 3rd straight week. I'm betting against the Bucs. I'm going down with the ship, or the crew, shall I say. And if I'm honest, I'm not sure if there's truly that big of a difference between Fields, who's out with a concussion, and Tyrod Taylor. It is Tyrod's actual first start in a Jets uniform, and I expect the Jets to kind of be kept in this. The Bucs, they're going to be without Kalijah Kancey, who's their standout defensive tackle, and they got beat up on Monday night. They lost 2 of their offensive linemen.
Their guards out, right?
And Cody Mosh and Tristan Wirfs is already out.
Year, right?
Yeah. So they're without their arguably 3 best offensive linemen. And on Monday, Tampa Bay allowed pressures on 49% of their dropbacks once those 2 guys went out. So I think this could be an interesting opportunity for the Jets to just keep it close, especially with a battered Tampa team going back home on a short week. I don't know. I might be biased, but I'm buying low on the Jets here after what was a woeful week 2 performance. They easily could be 0-2 here. I don't know. Tampa has kind of gotten lucky, I would say, in weeks 1 and 2. Again, I have bet against them each week, so I would not be surprised if the third time's the charm here and they absolutely, sodomize me once again. But we'll see. I like the Jets.
Yeah, I forgot the guard got ruled out for the year after Monday. I also saw Baker is his expected turnovers versus actual turnovers is like the biggest difference in the NFL right now.
Yes, that's no forced turnovers, so he doesn't have to worry about that.
Yeah, that's fair. Some of those runs and scrambles that he was getting away with on Monday were really crazy, though. So hopefully the Jets can contain. He's got a very even some of these guys, even these quarterbacks that aren't truly running quarterbacks, but have the ability to, on third down, get the 10 yards that they need. I think Baker's put himself in that conversation. Mahomes was kind of the one to, I guess, really pioneer that without being a running quarterback per se. But Baker's found himself being able to do that. And yeah, I think that'll be the key factor there. The Texans were not able to get those key third and fourth down stops with Baker's legs on Monday night. Obviously, huge coaching and time management mishap probably led to them losing that game. But they had many more chances to stop the Bucs offense in their tracks, and they just weren't able to do so. So maybe the Jets get it done.
I can't wait to look like such a schmuck for coming on here and saying the Jets +7 was my underdog pick of the week.
I bet the Jets last week, if that makes you feel any better, got absolutely smoked.
Yeah, I guess it does. But look, I've bet against the Bucs 3 straight weeks. I'm going to do it for a third. I bet against the Bucs 2 straight weeks. I did it for a third. I'm on the Jets +7. Tampa's without their 3 best O linemen. They're coming back home on a short week. Maybe Aaron Glenn gets his first win. I don't know. But Jake, we actually have a question, not football related. Can we get some Ryder Cup talk? How is the United States -145 against a stacked European roster? I know you're a golf aficionado, so what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I don't know if aficionado is the word that I would use. More of an enthusiast, and that's that enthusiasm's been parabolic of late, whether it's playing or watching. Reed, I agree with you here, man. Europe has had all of the momentum towards the end of the year. Scotty is obviously a complete terminator. Even just winning last week proved how locked in this guy is week in and week out. But watching what Justin Rose was able to do during the majors, watching Tommy Fleetwood down the stretch, the seasons that a lot of these other guys had, I think the big question is Rory, right? Can Rory go toe-to-toe with Scotty? I think if Rory can go toe-to-toe with Scotty, I think this is Europe's to lose. I certainly am not as confident in the JTs and the Cantlays of the world who didn't have fantastic seasons. I think Cantlay actually ended up playing pretty okay compared to his prior years. But and then you've got first timers like Ben Griffin. What can he do?
Loan officer
too, right? These are guys that had fantastic years and absolutely deserve to be on the team. But I think they're going to be feeling the pressure a little bit more in Bethpage than a lot of these European guys who have come out and proven it in prior years. So, my X factor is Rory. I think Scotty's going to go out there and do his thing. And I think we've seen a lot of ups and downs from Rory since he won the Masters, both mentally, emotionally, and physically on the golf course. So, I'm excited. I think it's going to be great. I got to get out there. I've never been to a golf event, and this enthusiasm, is kind of going to hit a tipping point of hopefully heading out there Friday or Saturday next week, right? Next week. So it'll be interesting to see. The atmosphere is going to be absolutely electric. A bunch of Long Island New Yorkers yelling at Europeans on the golf course is going to be pretty hilarious to see. So I'm excited to see if anyone is going to wilt under that pressure, either an American or European.
While I won't be there, it should be a spectacular sporting event. I have a wedding, so I cannot make it. But I did get this pretty sweet sweatshirt from Polo RLX. So.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Good piece.
I've seen a good amount of Polo collabs recently. They've really been expanding their partnership reach. But Yeah, I don't plan to hit any of those merch stores. I think it's going to be an absolute scene in there, but yeah, hopefully we'll be able to grab myself at least a reasonably priced ticket.
I hope you are able to. Did you see that there's actually without Scotty markets for the Ryder Cup? I was shocked when I saw it even
I
existed.
did not.
So on DraftKings right now, the winner without Scotty Scheffler matches USA is -105, Europe +110, and tie is +850.
Interesting. So that's not taking into account any single match that he plays in.
I guess so.
I mean,
Europe sounds great there.
Yeah. Not that DraftKings is letting a lot of people get down what they want on that market. I would imagine +110 Europe without Scotty sounds pretty good. On the flip side, if they're offering a without Rory market, I would have to see the number, obviously, but I would definitely lean more so. Even the US laying the juice at -160, -170 there.
It should be a really interesting 3-day event. I'm excited to watch it unfold on my phone from one of my best friend's wedding.
Where's this wedding? Not across the world, hopefully.
No, it's not across the world. My wedding tour continues. It's my 11th of the summer. It is upstate New York.
That's better.
And then we close it out Columbus Day weekend in New Jersey for the 12th and final of the season. But obviously, I promised this would be 30 minutes, so we'll wrap it up in the next few. But what's your best bet of the weekend?
Yeah, I kind of already don't want to use this term on air, but I guess I will blew my load with the Panthers out here. I think without Carolina, without having the board directly in front of me, maybe it's just I'm sour over the Vikings losing me a few Circa Survivor entries last week, but that's my own fault. I got cute. I thought Jake Browning and the Bengals actually looked pretty okay. I think he knows the offense. I think the Vikings look terrible. JJ's hurt. It's another short week spot. Or I guess not short week. They played Sunday night. But yeah, I think this Bengals team is, they're obviously going to lose a step without Joe Burrow out here, but the receiving core that they have, the way they were able to move the ball last week in his absence, it's already been bet off of the 3.5 and the 3 per Mr. GRP out here. If you can grab any type of 3, obviously would recommend that over anything else. But yeah, I like Cincy. I think a lot of people are writing them off over the next few months, and I think they're going to be competitive. They're not going to be what they were, but I think they'll at least be competitive. And Jake Browning has been able to show that not only last week, but even at other injury points of the last few seasons for Joe.
Yeah, down the stretch in 2023, Jake Browning wasn't horrible. He doesn't have the strongest arm, but smart quarterback, can command the offense. I don't know.
He's putting the ball. I mean, last week he had a couple of bad picks, but he has historically put the ball. He's not a tight window guy. He's really trying to put the ball into the open, and whoever really has the most separation, not toss it super down the field. I like him being able to manage that against an extremely beat up Vikings team.
Yep. Should be a nice slop fest out there. Carson Wentz versus Jake Browning, Sunday Night Football. Beautiful.
Yeah, I realized that I gave the Panthers Falcons and the Cardinals Bengals without probably both starters as my 2 best bets of the week. But hey, the money's in the crumbs, the money's in the slop out here. I guess we'll see if I'm correct on that. What's your best bet?
This is I was kind of torn here. So I have 2 bets I really like, but I guess if this was my best bet, I might have I should have probably just gave it out for my underdog of the week. So, I'll give the viewers at home 2. I really like, once again, I'm going to be betting on the Tennessee Titans +4.5. It's simply just the fact that the Colts haven't punted through 2 games, but that's got to end in their first road divisional game.
Daniel Jones hasn't punted through 2 games.
Yeah, water's got to find its level at some point. Daniel Jones as a road favorite of 4+ points. I don't know. I just don't buy it. I think a reality check is incoming. I don't think the Titans are very good, but I like them to cover the +4.5. And the other bet I actually really like, this one's even grosser, actually. Kyle Pitts over 37.5 receiving yards. Kyle freaking Pitts, the biggest disappointment in fantasy football, might actually be good. I'm not saying a breakout season's here, but something looks different. He kind of looks like his college self again. He ran a route on 100% of Atlanta's dropbacks last week, the first time that's actually happened since week 1 of last year. He's sitting at a pretty respectable 22% target share through 2 games. And now he gets Carolina, who's been getting torched by tight ends since Nam. So maybe we get our first genuine Kyle Pitts smash game. And I can't believe I just said that live on air.
37.5 is a long way from the 53s and the 62s.5 we were seeing the last couple of years. So I like the spot. I like the buy low spot. We definitely focused on a lot of the really bad games. But that's the fun of NFL betting, right? The slot fests.
The money is in the crumbs, my friend, as you said. Willie Burke, he loves Pitts. He's got a pick for tonight. Tyreek Hill touchdown. Take that on ProfitX. Get the best odds. Jake, last but not least, give us your survivor pick for the week.
Ooh, I'm undecided. I think Buffalo's the spot this week. I don't think I'm going to do it. I think after having a successful survivor campaign last year and then losing last week, I'm a little rattled. I feel like I've lost my confidence a little bit.
Who'd you take last week?
Getting up to the mat. I had 3 of my 10 entries on Minnesota. Got cute. No real other way around it. I was trying to avoid the Cowboys, so right thought, wrong result, I would say. I think Seattle's a must avoid. I think you're going to have 40-50% of pools on Seattle. Seattle doesn't strike me as a team that I really want to have, a negative EV play on with, half the pool potentially being eliminated. That being said, the Saints are awful. So I get it. I think most people probably missed the Buffalo deadline at this point. I like the Packers. I like the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are not going to be as good as people would have thought. They're a double holiday team, so it's a little tough to use them right now. Green Bay too. But Green Bay is a team that I might want to save as well. So I'm pretty undecided right now. It's tough out here. I'm definitely avoiding Atlanta. I'm definitely avoiding Seattle, and I did not get my pick in time for Buffalo tonight. So, old politician's answer there, but I don't have anything for you, unfortunately.
Well, I got bad news for you. Well, I guess for myself, actually. I actually took the Seahawks for this week. I burned Green Bay in week 1, which was kind of ballsy, thinking back on it.
That was ballsy.
Against the Lions. I just really like the fact that the Lions lost both of their coordinators last year, and I just thought they would be a bit sluggish in week 1. Green Bay would be a bit amped up.
Right.
I'm very high on them this year in general, but yes, would have loved to use them this week, though, that being said. I'm on Seattle, but thank you very much for coming on. We're rooting for you. ProfitX is amazing. If you have not yet signed up for ProfitX, I highly recommend you hit that link in our YouTube description. Get on there. You could receive up to $200 in profit cash in your first 30 days, I believe, if that's correct. So get on and do that. Get on ProfitDuel. Use our tools to make guaranteed cash on ProfitX. Jake, this was a lot of fun. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And for anyone watching, make sure to get your $100 boosts in on FanDuel and DraftKings. And if you're looking to take the risk out of the situation, we're the best place to do it. So appreciate you having me on. And I'll hopefully see you soon.
Yes, I hope to see you out at the office. And go Jets.